Oh, hello everybody. Didn't see you there. What am I doing? I'm sanding up some GP bowls. They've got to go into the kiln right shortly now because I've got to unload a glaze firing which I had last night. And so we're going to take advantage of the heat, but I actually got to get these through the kiln and then glazed and then into the kiln again the day after tomorrow. So it's all go. Yep. Okay, so what I'm doing here, in case you were wondering, you can see the sand there at the bottom. Alright, so when you've got a number of bowls that you want to fire in the bisque stage, you can put sand in the bottom of each bowl and then stack them up on the sand. In that way, the weight is taken down through the base here of each pot. It's not taken up here on the side, because if the weight is taken on the side there, obviously the bowls that are on the bottom would just crack. Right? And if you make a bung of bowls like this, you can lift them up, you see, from the bottom quite safely and easily and pack them into the kiln. And the sand that I'm using is just ordinary play sand that I got at a local a well-known hardware store. I don't know. If I mention any names these days, I get jumped on. Oh, you shouldn't mention names. Okay, well. So, a local hardware, big local hardware store. Familiar to us all, no doubt. Okay, I've got some of those storage jars here. You saw me making these just, in fact, last night. No, not these exact ones. I've got another 3 over there. The actual ones are on top of the kiln, even as I speak, drying, because I've got to get those into the kiln as well. Let's swing the camera around, and so you can see, yeah, you can see the storage jars are there. So I'll just move it a touch closer, and I'll go around the other side, and we can talk about what's going on here. So probably be a good idea if I move these storage jars and their lids. Now which one goes which? These are all individually measured, you see, so that's it. So I'll put those. Woohoo, the wind chimes. Yeah, I made myself a set of wind chimes out of an old camera tripod. A real cheapy tripod that was good for nothing, literally. But the aluminium makes a nice sound. I dismembered it. Okay, so there it is. I'm probably not going to be able to unpack all of this because it's actually still quite hot. But maybe we can get the first couple of shelves out. I'm going to put on some gloves so I don't have any nasty surprises. I've got a piece of wood here. Sometimes I use a handle of a hammer, which I think I will use because that's too long. Yeah, a handle of a hammer to crack open certain pots. So now I don't usually fire the kiln quite as packed as this. As you can see, it's packed right up to the top. And on the top shelf here, I've got a full shelf, and I sometimes just have a half a shelf here to allow a little bit better gas flow because the flames you see are coming up here like this, and then they've got to go across the top here and down. So as I said before, what I usually do when I open a kiln is there's a couple of things. Oh, we've got a flurry of snow. There's a couple of things that I look for basically is, have we reached the temperature? Are the glazes matured nicely? That's probably the first question. Second question, equally important, is the reduction good? Has everything been reduced nicely? I'm just noticing something here. You see these mugs? You see that? That's exactly the same glaze. Can you see the difference? There's obviously a pocket of oxidization just in this top corner here that you see that's come out a rather nasty kind of pea green colour, hasn't it? And it should be like that, you see. That's the difference between oxidization and reduction, you see. One is much more attractive, isn't it, than the other. Here is a bowl with wood ash sprayed over the outside. It's come out quite nice. So what I'm going to do is, this was the double veggie bowl. Remember you saw we made these, didn't we? The two GP bowls pushed together with a strap handle. So that's the double veggie dish for your carrots and your potatoes or your peas. Or your nuts or whatever. Okay, I'll go just remove a couple of these items here and just put them on the table on a board. When I unpack, I like to put things on wearboards. That's another good use of wearboards. So, right over here we've got some wood ash and red clay tea bowls. They've come out quite nice. Just put those there. This is a yes. Well, now you see, when I see that, that's a Temuku with an ilmenite decoration. Unfortunately, it hasn't really come out. And when I look at the clay body, I can see instantly that it's oxidized. You see that clay body? See the difference? So that's an oxidized Temuku, and consequently the ilmenite has not come out at all. Bummer. Okay, well, learning curve again. That's a nice little bottle. Celadon, come out nicely reduced. That's with the impressed decoration in the side. He's quite nice, isn't he? Couple of mugs here. This is a Leach White, which has got an opacifier in it, Leach White, which makes it rather white. Zirconium. And to offset that whiteness, I splattered a little bit of iron oxide, these spots, over the outside. Now the decoration I did with the cobalt, but this time I've toned it down so it's not so blue. Remember last time we did it, it was very violently blue, wasn't it? So this is actually better. I prefer this. It's quieter, isn't it? Okay, good. Just go and put these guys over there on the wearboard. Those two. This is the best bit, isn't it, really, of everything that we do, the opening of the kiln. You can see here some pestles on pads of clay. I just put them on pads of clay and fire them like that. The pads don't generally stick. Okay. What else? Okay, yeah, we've got here. This bowl I made and impressed with a dried corn cob into the wall with my hand on the inside like that, and then banging the corn cob into the side. I think that's quite handsome. That's quite nice. It would have been a bit better, I think, with a little bit more thickness of glaze. This glaze tends to be rather thin, this clay and wood ash glaze. Kind of needs a little bit more body to it to make it a bit more buttery, you know. So there's that. Here is this is one of my flattened four-sided bowls. This is done with the paddle. The paddle that we've got on our website actually. So that's done with the paddle and the wooden spoon. Temmaku, nice. That's how I like temmaku. Basically black but breaking on the high spots and along the edges. So that's quite pleasing. That's good. Good, right? Put these down. What else? We've got a butter dish here. This is fired. I don't think we did this together at all. There's a plate, and then I wax an area where these are thrown like that, and then with rolled rims, you see, and then they're turned upside down, they're trimmed, and a handle is put across. So that's it's a butter dish, or a small cheese dish. You can fire the lid in situ because the glaze has been removed there because of the wax, and because it's got a rolled rim here on the edge or the rim of the lid, they don't tend to warp or go out of round. They stay round, which is what you want, of course. Okay. So yeah, a little bit of oxidization there actually in that little dish, I see, but also some reduction, a little bit of a mixture. Okie doke. Right, well, let's go down to the next shelf. Now, when you've got a shelf like this, before you go down to the next shelf, don't just lift the shelf straight out, because the props might be sticking to the shelf and you may not see that. So just rock the shelf like that before, and then lift out the shelf. Let's have a look here in the viewfinder. Yeah. Okay. Right. First thing we'll do, we'll remove the props. Get them out of the light. We have a lot of jugs here, as you can see. Again, Leach white. In fact, yeah, this is that same Leach white actually. I found it too stark and too bright, so I've actually taken out some of the zirconium. But yeah, these look like they fired quite nicely, I would say. I like the blue. Quite nice little jugs. What I generally do with all of these pots when they're on the wearboard, we take them and we grind their bases together, don't we? So they don't have rough spots. Yeah, these look quite handsome. I think they will sell. That's the general idea, isn't it, that they sell? And that people enjoy using them, and they're happy with them. We've got a little covered pot here with a bird on it, and again a sort of bamboo type decoration. So that lid is tending to want to be stuck. So this is where you can with care use an implement. Generally use wood. Now this one I seem to remember, yeah, it's got a celadon on the inside. Yeah, it's quite nice. It'll do very nicely, thank you. This is Temaku, but not really. It had an impression here in the sides, but it's not broken through, I'm afraid. So we're not. It's rather black. And there's another one over here. Maybe if I put it in the sunshine here, you can see a little bit of it. It's breaking through there, isn't it? Would have been nicer if it was a bit more. Ah, look, there's one of those mugs. Now that was obviously, yeah, okay, now I've got to take note of that, you see. We have to get to know our kilns. And here's another mug down there. It's got a patch of oxidization, hasn't it? See that colour difference there than there? That's because that side is slightly oxidized. Let's whisk these away to the wearboards. Yes. So now we have a lot of these jugs which I did a while ago. These in fact were raw fire, these ones. Again, that clay and wood ash glaze can be a little bit, when it comes out like that, rather yellow, too yellow. I don't tend to like it. Not so much. Now here's one that I put a decoration on because I had a feeling that they might come out a bit yellow, and on this one I put a decoration just to give it a bit of life. Yeah. Yeah. Now this is not only yellow, but this one is oxidized as well, and this is one is like is. Not so hot. Not so hot, but anyway. So what have we got here now? We've got this. Oh, that's come out quite nice. He's handsome. Squared little bottle. You did actually see me do this one a while back. Well, I did a wax resist. Well, first of all, I dipped it after the bisque. I dipped it in a glaze. It's like 4-3-2-1. Doesn't have any zirconium in it, I don't think at all. So I did a wax resist, and then I brushed cobalt just across it like that, and it was resisted, and I had some of that red dot I put in there. So yeah, that's quite nice. Oh, a little. Ooh, he's rather slick, isn't he? You like that? Rather black, just breaking here where the spoon has hit. Okie doke. Well, here's the cone, which was there. That's a cone 10. So let's see where we're at. I actually fired this one a little less than the last. The last firing was a bit hot. So this one I purposely didn't go quite so hot. Here's a vase with a bird decoration in cobalt iron oxide over the rim. Flower vase. It's always a mixed bag, isn't it, opening a kiln? A mixture of shattering of your preconceived ideas or your preconceived expectations sometimes. This is a Temuku bottle with an ilmenite decoration and dots in ilmenite. Quite interesting, quite nice actually. Yeah, I quite like that. Oh, so we're getting down into the depths. Maybe we'll get this kiln unpacked. After all, let's see if we can get that shelf out there. Ho ho ho! Oh, what we got down here? Oh, we have a meltdown here. Look. Ooh. Dear. Okay, we'll start with these. These are some hanging wall vases that I'll put them here down the bottom. These actually I had hanging around for ages. And originally I made them and I thought they'd made them out of a reddish clay, which actually turned out to be a stoneware clay, and I put a decoration on them. This kind of decoration here was like a white decoration, me thinking it was on like a red terracotta, and it actually was stoneware. So well, I just chucked them in the kiln. These are hanging wall vases, they go on the wall, and for flowers. For flowers, yeah. No great shakes about them, but anyway, we've got them fired, they're out of the way. Now here's it's come out quite nice. It's almost like a celadon. In fact, no, it's not a celadon glaze. That's actually the Leach white without the opacifier in it. But there's obviously some iron in the clay body which is coming through, which is giving it like a mild celadon look to it. I think it worked quite nice actually. What else? Oh, a little cylinder I did. It was just a kiln filler actually. Ah, what's this? Ah. You see now this is oxidized. This one is slightly oxidized, I'm afraid. Plus this clay body didn't have much iron in it anyway. Alright. What's this fella here? Again, that's that. Oh no, it isn't. Wait a minute, what am I talking about? Yes, that is a celadon. A celadon with a foxglove decoration. One of my father's decorations actually from Lowerdown, which I do from time to time. One of those hanging wall vases, this one I was glazed all over, again with the bamboo type decoration. Let me just go put these on the wearboards. So what am I learning from this firing? This is a question we always ask ourselves, isn't it? As we unpack, your mind is racing and you're thinking, oh, next time I'll do this, or I'll make it like that, or I'll give it a little bit more reduction. Or here is a Temuku bowl down there on the bottom. And decoration just struggling to break through here. A little bit of, I don't know if you can see, orange peel effect there on this side. Good. We've got that awkward customer down there that has gone and stuck. So pain, isn't it? That would have been a nice bottle. Ah, well, it still is a nice bottle. It still is a nice bottle, come to that. But it's going to have a little bit of grinding done there. And my shelf is also going to have a bit of grinding. So, one last piece down there. There, came out quite nicely here. He did. Ah, it's got a little crack in the base there, you see? It actually was cracked. I knew he was cracked when he went in, but I decided to fire him anyway, whether he was cracked or not. Still come out quite a nice piece actually. Ginger jar. A ginger jar. So, there it is, folks. Well, as always, firing is a mixture of feelings. It's seldom, I suppose, that we actually unpack a kiln and every piece is glorious. It's always a mixture, isn't it? The thing is to learn from the firing. So from this firing to the next firing, I'll be firing this again, a glaze firing the day after tomorrow. I've got to fire this today now as a bisque, and then tomorrow another glaze, and I'll be then firing it, bearing in mind what we've learned as a result of this firing. This firing I had, as I say, I had a third shelf quite high up, which I think was slightly obstructing the flow of gases within the kiln space, and hence we had a little bit of oxidization. Fortunately, not too much. Now then, how will I know how much more reduction to give the kiln? Well, I will make sure because visually, I mean, I don't actually have a pyrometer, which I ought to have one actually. I'm going to get a pyrometer. Would be a good thing to have. But ultimately, the temperature of the kiln, and when you decide to switch it off, is not controlled by a pyrometer. You look at your cone. Cones is what you use for shutting down a kiln when you know you've reached your temperature, not a reading on a pyrometer. But so visually, what can well, I can see the flame that is on the top of the chimney here. And that flame, according to the vigorousness of that flame, I can tell the degree of reduction that I'm getting. So, bearing in mind what we did last night when we fired this, so when I fire this, I will fire it next time with a little bit more vigour there on the chimney. Sure is a learning process. Okay, well, we're all practicing, aren't we? Okay, take it easy. See you soon. Bye-bye. And keep practicing, of course.